couldn't remember if you had met or not.
Maybe it's just because I've seen you so many times. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Podcast partner. Meet your other
Meet your other podcast partner.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So I'm hoping that we could do a lot more. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to. I was telling Jen that our Janice, what the hell do we call her now? I can't even think of the word. Editor.
Okay, she's not allowed to come back.
I know. I can't think of the word.
Just kidding.
I can't think of the word. Anyway.
Contributing editor.
You guys going to need to tell me if I, is this a cuss-free zone?
Absolutely not.
Swearing.
No swearing.
No. You swear.
Okay, I was like, oh, Jesus, this is going to be really hard for
please,
me.
No. Say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, I
no.
will try to limit it.
No,
you
it
know.
is not cut. It is
Yeah.
cut. It is
We showed
cuss
up at
all the
Chuck E.
time.
Cheese.
You're right, yeah.
we
Yeah.
showed us at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
But yeah, we want to do regular episodes with Janice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a monthly thing where she comes on
Do
and
something,
interviews
you know,
members
where
and stuff.
she, yeah. Because today we're actually talking to our first Louisville.
I know.
This is our first Louisville Scout Guide podcast interview.
Yeah. Is it the first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've had multiple people that have scheduled, but they've had to cancel or
Well,
reschedule.
we
them.
had Lexington, Louisville, Lex Louisville, the interior.
Like a
yardage
combined.
girls. Yeah.
Yeah, but they hadn't signed up for Louisville yet,
Yeah.
had they?
Yeah,
I don't think
they
so.
had. Yeah, they had.
I feel like that was so long
anyway,
ago.
It's like the first official
But you're like the
Chuck
first
I'm-
Louisville.
yeah, I'm
you're
just
in
Louisville.
Louisville, so
Right.
yes, I know.
Yes.
Yes.
there, work there, play there.
So
Yes.
thank you for coming on.
Yes,
I know,
I'm so excited to be
yay,
here.
yes.
Thank you guys for having me.
So tell everybody what you do.
Oh, man.
By the way, the earrings we just noticed are balloons.
I know. They're balloons. What a loser. No.
Whatever. No.
I always feel like people are going to think I'm going to like
it's like
start
custom
making
swag,
like
right?
balloon animals or something, and that's definitely not what I do. No, I mean,
You bring the fun.
I bring the fun. If there's a party to be had, we want to be there. Lots of balloon decor, backdrop rentals, marquees. We really are doing a lot of corporate events now. We still do a lot of like baby showers, bridal showers, birthday parties, but really leaning into more corporate events are really fun for us.
But I'll tell you what. So we in Lexington are getting ready to curate Volume 10.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 years ago, Volume 6 release, I had seen all this amazing balloon art, right? Like in other cities, in other Scout Guide cities that they had done it for their launch parties. But I hadn't seen a lot of it here.
Right.
So, yeah, almost 6 years ago. What's it? 4.5. Wait.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to see it. I've always been a huge party planner for like my kids' birthday parties.
But there wasn't a lot here, was
There
there?
wasn't
No.
a lot. And I would see everything on Pinterest when you start
Right.
pinning everything for your kids' birthday parties. And that was really the idea behind it, because I couldn't find anyone in Louisville to do my kids' birthday parties. And so I just figured out how to do it myself.
Yeah, it's like Palm Beach. Well,
Balloon garlands. Like
Right, so
you,
that's-
and
that's-
honestly, and not even, that
Yeah.
specifically, you, all of these big parties had this awesome
Right.
garland in the back and for a picture opportunity, and could not find that anywhere that existed in Louisville. And so have always been a really creative person. So I just got on YouTube and figured out how to do it myself. Now looking back at my first balloon garland, I'm like, that was awful. Because you're like, oh my gosh.
That's how everybody
You know how everyone, like everyone
Everything,
evolves. But I'm like, did I really think that was good?
Well, and so did everybody else.
Yeah, apparently everybody else thought it was good. And so that was kind of how the business started, because I really honestly wasn't looking to start a business. I was working full time in the corporate world. I'd been in HR for 12, 14 years. I'd kind of moved my way up different companies, and I was completely, I don't ever want to say I like loved it. I was completely fine, like completely content. I had a great job, great company, great boss, and I was totally fine. And there was never like, I'm doing this because I want to get out of this.
Right.
It was more so, this doesn't exist and I want something good for my kid's party and I'm going to do it. And then all of a sudden I had a few people ask like, hey, will you make one for me? And will you make one for me? And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, I guess I'll get an Instagram. Like in hindsight, I wish I would have been able to like have a business plan. Like, let's think about all the back end stuff, but it happened so quickly
Right.
that I didn't really have time to do
But those are the best
any of
success
that.
stories.
But it really is, because
Yeah.
it kind of just evolved without me having to like do a lot with it, and then you kind of just learn over time. And so honestly, I did a lot of I did the crossover for 2 years of having 2 jobs. I mean, I had 2 full-time jobs. In 2021, it was like, in 2022, I was like, this is insane. I have 2 full-time jobs. I have to pick.
Well, when we first met you, I mean, you were just finished. You were just
Yeah, because I
exiting out of
finally
your
left my
other
corporate job
full-time.
in
Yeah.
November 2022.
Right.
After like an month resignation.
Yeah.
I was like, please let me leave.
But I'm not kidding you. Like when I was like, that's what I'm going to do. Because like Palm Beach Scout Guide had them. And I think, a couple other really larger cities that had launch parties and they were using it. I found this gal locally and I showed her a picture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she blew it out of the water,
Yes.
But I set it up at John Karloftis' house because that's where we did our lunch. And he was like, we look like we're having prom. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
He's like, what's with the balloons?
Right.
He's like, and I'm like, this is cool, man. I promise
they are
you,
cool.
this is cool. Everybody's going to love it.
Yes.
And
especially the way that they're done now, being
Yes.
organic. And whenever anyone calls me, like, I want a traditional column or a traditional arch, and I'm always like, are you talking like prom 98? Like, that's what you want? Or do you think that's what you want?
Right.
And let me give
But
you
let me
something
show you
different.
something cooler.
And if
Yeah.
they want that, then I will do it. I'm just not going to post it to my
Yeah.
Instagram because it's not
Yeah.
cool.
But really, he fell in love with it.
Yeah.
When she was installing it at first, he was just like, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck, what the heck? And then he was
Right.
like, wow.
That was the first event that we went to.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
remember
that being awesome.
Remember
Yeah.
on the front door? And
They
were
make
all
a
of it,
huge
like,
statement.
so-
I mean, I feel like you can't go anywhere now without having.
it's like,
this
where's the balloon?
Where are the
going?
balloons?
It's like you
Hello.
forgot them if they're not
Right.
there. It's
Where's
like,
a trend like that even come from? I mean, I know you mentioned Pinterest.
I mean, I think it-
word of mouth. Everybody's seeing pictures from an event, and it just.
That's what
Yeah, I
happened
think
to
it
me.
starts with Pinterest, and I think when I always think back on the Kardashians, like they had like these massive parties and huge balloon garlands, and so I think when you watch reality shows, it's funny now because now that I'm in this business, I never really paid attention to it before. But even when I'm watching, like last week I got caught up on Selling Sunset. Like every one of their huge events had massive balloon garlands that I probably wouldn't have noticed before. But I'm like, man, I think people see them and they're like, oh, I want that at my party.
right.
I want something
right.
cool like that.
And like you said, at any event,
Yeah.
I mean, and I love the corporate thing because I do think that, like I said, I think it started out as like a family fun thing.
Right.
And then corporations are like, it just adds more bling.
It really does. I mean, to corporate parties, I remember something I did last year, had all the marquee letters, had like 100 feet of balloons. I mean, that's really, you don't have to have like an event designer come in. You can kind of just shift your budget to something new that people want. People love the selfie. People love the 360 camera. And if you have all the balloons around it, like that's what people want. They're like fun. They are vibrant colors. Also, because you can match the colors to the corporate branding.
Right.
You can have everything personalized, logos. You really can do so much different,
And
so
shapes,
many different things.
you add in like,
Mhm,
star
the different,
balloons,
yeah,
there's
and the
regular
different
balloons and
yeah,
all the things.
size balloons.
How
all of that.
many, what's the most amount of balloons you've had to do?
It will be next week. So I have this big. It's kind of funny. So I had this big. It's called Unicorn World, and it is more.
amazing.
It is more of like the traditional arches, but it's about. They added to their order, so it's probably about 5,000 balloons.
What?
Yeah. So it's a lot. So I'll start
why
blowing,
last year was
and I blow all of those up
You blow them
myself.
all up?
I need to find an inflator. I just need someone to. I'm like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, I inflate all of the every single balloon. I inflate myself. I need
What's
to.
the average number that you might use?
Probably, I would say on average, someone gets like a 12 to 15 foot garland, which, man, I'm not great at math. That's like 15 clusters times 6, so whatever that is.
What is that?
Yeah, whatever that is.
What is that?
Maybe 200, 100 balloons, 200 balloons, about, and yeah. Is that 90?
Right?
15 times 6. And then the little ones. So
None of us are math
I would say
majors.
probably like, yeah. How do I have a business? I can't do simple math. Probably 200 balloons, I would say, is on the average. And that's including like the little ones. Yeah. So that's a big, that will be one. Oh, that will be in multiple like areas of the event. So it's not all one arch. Like they'll have rainbows and.
I mean, like,
all
still,
sorts of
people still talk to me about, we just did our launch in July, and I mean, the other thing I love is, like you said, like, you can match corporations' colors, and our colors of our guide change every year. And I mean, you nailed that purple.
Yeah,
like,
you send it
everything.
to
I
me.
mean,
That you're like the ideal client because like you send it to me and I'm like, I got it. Just here's how much we want to spend. Here's what we're gonna do. That's the ideal client. It's the people that ask you for like 1,000 things. You're like, they want to come to your house for balloon samples. I'm like, honey, I promise I got
oh
it.
my God, like a cake sampler.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, this isn't like a wedding cake tasting, but it's fine.
ew, it could've
We
come
love
with
everybody.
I swear, we'll get the right color.
But yeah, I mean,
promise.
honestly, the ideal client is this is how much I want to spend and here's the invitation.
Right.
And
yeah.
I'm like, I got you.
You
I know.
did, too,
I'm like,
man.
because
It's
also
gorgeous.
That's what I do with like a baker when I'm like going to for like my daughter's birthday party. I'm like, hey, here's how much I want to spend, and here are a couple ideas on Pinterest, and here are the color schemes. Like, do whatever. Yeah. That's like a baker's dream. Let them be the creative person, and that's what I really enjoy.
Well, I feel like
doing
that
as well.
and we have this conversation a lot. Lisa and I do when we're talking about like, you know, if the creative meetings for photography. It's like, you know, let's just let people do their job, man.
Right.
You know, like you don't go into a house when the builder's there and you don't take over building.
Exactly.
Like, it's just like, just let them do their job. And
Right.
I feel like everybody is so much more like, everybody's a know-it-all these days.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's also kind of like, maybe I'm thinking too hard, but almost like outsourcing an excuse if something's wrong. Well, they didn't do it. This person over here did it. If that kind of makes sense. It's kind of a buffer.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to hire you to do the balloons. I'm going to micromanage every component.
Right.
Of it.
Yeah.
And whatever's wrong
Right.
was your
Right.
problem.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right was okay for me.
Right. And you
Yeah,
know,
that's a reason. Yeah,
It's
like
a
everybody
fine
has
line
to-
because be like, hey, these are the colors that I want to go together. Do you think it looks good? It's like the fine line of like, okay, do I tell them what they want to hear? Because they want to hear, yes, it's going to look good. Then they're going to see it together and it's not going to look good. And so I choose the like, just so you know, that's not the colors I would put together. I'm happy to put those colors together for you. Exactly I don't know that you're going to love it in the end, but I just want to, I do this all the time. So just
Trust
so
me.
you know,
Let me do
I
my
don't
job.
think that they're going to look right together. I would substitute this color for this color. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh, yes, just do it.
Ever a point
Right.
you just go,
See, that's what we talk
Oh,
about.
100%.
I'm gonna make it the way you asked me.
I have,
And
yes.
you let the event be what it is.
Right. And you know, and sometimes they're like, I love it. I'm like, I'm glad you do. And you know,
Not going on my Instagram.
right. Yeah. I'm like, I'm so
my
glad.
photograph.
Yeah. You know, because not everything is going to, right.
Not my-
'cause
not my
everything,
normal
yeah,
work.
not everything is going to be my cup of tea, right? Not everything is going to be the interest that I like. You know, the parties that I throw for my kids are not going to be necessarily the parties that other people throw, and that's totally fine. But,
Right.
yeah.
It's like the strangest request.
Oh, yeah.
The strangest request. Probably
Like
the
boudoir
balloon color.
balloons or
No,
something?
probably just yeah, no, I would like that would be so fun to do something funny like that. Like, yeah. You
I need
could
a
really
private
do some like
garland
tan
for my
balloons,
boudoir.
like big tan balloons. Like that would be
Little like notes in each balloon.
you
and,
could.
like, pop one and like do
You
what
could.
they say on the
Yeah.
balloon. Ew.
Right.
I was talking a photo shoot. I don't know where you're
right.
going.
You know, I will tell you, probably the weirdest request though, now that I just remembered this, somebody had asked me to do a funeral. And I was thinking, okay, if it was like for a celebration of life for a kid, I was like, hey, I was like honored that you would like do that. It wasn't that though. It was, hey, do you care to do balloons for my brother who passed away? He was like always the life of the party. Can you put them on the open casket? And I was like,
Oh.
I think I'm booked. So I just, because I was, the whole time I was just thinking, what if I fall off the ladder?
Yeah.
Like, what if I fall off the ladder
Oh, they wanted
onto
you
the
to put
casket, on the open casket?
Oh.
not-
Flowers. Like
Yes,
people
not
lay
like
the flowers.
yeah, they wanted like the
Oh.
balloons, which I think is great. And I was like, I think I offered it as like a grab and go. Like, you can come to my house and pick it up. I'll show you how to install it. I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do
No,
it.
yeah, that's
Which
a lot.
But I would, you know, and then I would also feel really bad about like, okay, and I'm gonna send you the invoice afterwards. You know what I mean? I don't know how funeral homes do that. I guess they,
Yeah,
I mean, they
that's-
do obviously, but I would feel
yeah.
really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I mean, how much time does it take to prepare an average?
You know,
This girl
I'm
is
fast.
Oh my
It's
God.
insane.
So like for
Never seen anything
like
like
a
it.
20-foot garland, I can blow up in 20 minutes. I can basically blow up.
That's a minute a
a
balloon,
minute,
girl.
a minute a cluster. Or that's a minute per
The-
6
and putting 'em
balloons.
together.
And putting them together. So I can do it fast. So like for the unicorn world next week, that's about 4,000 balloons. I'm hoping that my time to blow them up will be about 7 hours. That's what I'm hoping. That's my goal. I'm gonna time myself. I always try to like get better
Do you
with
have a
each
special
one.
thing that you tie them with or something?
No, but you tie them together versus individually, which makes a huge difference. So when you're blowing up the balloons like at the same time, then you tie them together instead of tying them individually, which
We're gonna have
so
to blur
like you,
that
I
out.
know I
That's a
should have like
trade
you
secret.
like blow up 2 balloons so you're holding them without being tied, and you just tie them like you're tying a shoelace. Tying them individually kills your. I can't do more than like 3 of those. It's like kills your fingers.
Yeah, that's
I would
fine.
imagine
Yes.
you can't do it too far
Wow.
forward.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we use like the best quality balloons. Like I've already started blowing up Unicorn World balloons, and that's for next Friday. So It's funny. A lot
They
of people
last.
they
And they're
last.
Not necessarily helium though.
No, they're
'cause
not
you
helium.
feed
I
them
don't
to
use.
float.
I don't do
Yeah,
helium.
So they don't
Yeah.
like
And speaking of that too, like it breaks my heart when an event's over. I'm like, what are
do
we
you
gonna
do
do?
with this?
I'm like, I
know.
cannot pop these.
I know,
I'm
it's
like, I'm
hard.
usually trying to disassemble it and disassemble.
Yeah, and you can like
And I
cut them
wanna
into
give 'em-
chunks.
Yeah, and I'm
giving
like,
people.
please take this home.
I know.
like
Well,
like
and
the
that's
flowers
a good
on the
thing
table.
about when businesses do them. I always try to get them to do something small on the outside because visually you want people to, as they're driving by, to like see the balloons.
Right.
But I try to get them to do their big garland on the inside because it will last 2 to 3 months.
Right, keep it
I mean,
up.
I've had some people. I went and did one. She's like, I love her so much. She had hers up for a year. She was like,
Oh my god.
now it didn't look nearly as good as it did in the beginning, but I mean,
Sure.
it was a little shriveled, but not nearly as much as you would think.
They're all hanging
not
there.
nearly as much as you would think it would have been. But generally, at least 2 to 3 months. Inside.
No, it is. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
outside
They
is totally
last.
different because weather impacts them so much, but inside they will last
Yeah.
for a really long time.
And they're
Especially I try to get that with like moms that have kids' birthdays like 3 weeks apart. I'm like, what can we do with like both the birthdays?
Right.
Or let me come in and like you want red, white, and blue for your son, but you want like red, white, and pink. Let's just take out the blue and add the pink. And like I try to make it like
So
something for them
smart.
where it's like, hey, I'll just charge you just for the clusters that I'm bringing in, and try to make it
That's
make
awesome.
sense for them.
Yeah, because back-to-back parties like that. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have
because
that.
it's expensive. They're not cheap. So
Yeah,
I want
right.
people to be able to like use them as long as they can.
Yeah, I mean that's what I said. Like I don't want to pop them. I'm always like,
I
oh my
know.
gosh,
I hate
Like,
popping
I
them.
hate it. It
I
breaks my
know.
heart. Like, it's
Nothing
like,
is worse than when you blow up so many and then like you go to an event and then
people are
you're
just
popping them
popping
like
them.
2 hours later.
I know.
I'm like,
Oh,
I mean,
God.
because it's like, what am I gonna do with
It's
all
just
these
like,
balloons?
and they sound like
Yeah.
bullets too. And you're
I
like,
know
that's like
it
shots to
does.
the heart. You're just
I
like,
know.
You're just like, oh my God.
I can't pop those
Stop.
at the mall anymore.
Yeah.
It sounds bad.
I know. I hate it.
It really does.
People
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate
Some
it.
of like the newest trends that are going on right now.
There's these things called crazy towers, which are really cool. They are like a twist to the traditional when you think of like Prom 98, where you're like the column that's like everything is like twisted so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
These are those are really popular. The marquee letters are really, really popular. So we're getting ready to get a whole new line of marquee letters, which can all be different colors. And I'm really hoping that they will be here for the launch of the Scout Guide, so we can match it
yes.
to the magazine
Yes,
color.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
Like white. And then
The body
strip
itself,
of
and then the
black.
strip, you'll be able to like with the push of a button, it's all controlled by an app.
Oh, fun.
And then you
So
can
like
change
Christmas
it.
lights.
Christmas light, you kind of like Christmas lights, but it's like an
different
LED
color.
strip,
Okay,
and
cool.
they're really cool. They can even like if you're close enough to like a sound system, the colors can change to the beat of the music.
Oh, fun.
So it's really cool for like if you're like at a UK game, for
Yeah.
example, and you want it to be like blue and white, and like every 5 minutes you could change it, or if it sounds like the beat, the beat of the
Very
music.
cool.
So those should be in by the beginning of the year, and so I haven't even really told many people that. So
Exclusive.
exclusive. But yeah, those are really popular, especially to be able to put balloons around them, and then you kind of get to like double dip especially for a corporate to be able to have like their balloon colors, and then whatever like their like motto or saying is, in the letters is really popular.
Yeah, people love it. It's all for the gram, man.
It is all
it's
for the
all for the
gram.
gram.
So did you learn all of this new trend stuff from the giant balloon convention that you were
I
discussing?
know. I went to Orlando.
I was floored. I was like, oh my
That-
God,
some of
there's like
that's-
a million balloon people.
They have
was-
balloon
it was
conventions
wild.
too.
Crazy.
I know. My husband made so much fun of me. He's like, I cannot believe you're going to a balloon convention. And I was like, I can't.
And you're like,
either.
you're welcome.
I know.
It
It was
a balloon
very
convention.
Yes. So yeah, it was like a balloon. It was really, really awesome. It was a balloon conference, and it basically you get coached on your business, which is like kind of
I
like
love
you're putting
that.
yourself out there, and you're like, wow, I went into one of the sessions and they're like, okay, pull up your website, we're gonna all critique it, and you're like, I guess I'm ready to rock. Like, I mean, and they gave you really good pointers, and these people have been in the balloon industry for a really long time.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that, from a technique perspective, like, I think you probably saw the like butterfly or the scuba diver. I mean, these things are so cool. Probably nothing I'm ever going to make.
No, not necessarily.
But not necessarily, but who knows?
Right.
But it was really neat to be able to take a week out of your business to work on your business,
Right.
because you just get so in the mindset of just the mundane of just going over and over and the same thing,
The hamster
sending your
wheel.
invoices, and
Yep.
doing the setups, and then you're never really taking the time to carve out and be like, how can I make sure that we're growing? How can I make sure that we are lean? How can I make sure? And so to take the time out to actually put the focus in on how to make it better was really beneficial.
Yeah.
So
It was
somebody
cool.
that goes from how long were you in HR?
Like 12, 13 years. Yeah.
What does it feel like to say, you were in HR for 12 years, like certain words you're used to coming out of your mouth?
Yes.
And you just said a balloon convention.
I know, it
Like,
is very weird.
Is there any sort of like identity crisis there?
There is. I will
It
tell
sounds
you.
like there's more one for your husband than you.
I know, right? No, he's so supportive. I know, right?
What do you call yourself by that? Is it like
I don't call myself a balloon artist. I don't know why. I think so I'll tell you a story kind of about this. This is kind of about, so when I was doing this started in the like September 2020 and 21 and 22, I still was working for my corporate job. And every time I would get to someone's house or a venue, and the person, whoever answered the door, was like, the balloon girl's here, the balloon girl's here. And I had this like need to be like, whoa, I have a real job. Like, and I'm like, what?
You
And
didn't
I'm like,
want to.
why do I do that? And
Like
like,
the balloon girl.
yeah, and I'm like, I'll have a real job. Like I'm an HR and I've got a team of 10. And then I would sit there thinking, why did I just do that? Like, why did I feel the need to be like, to defend that this isn't a real job? Right. And so I would like prep myself going to the next event being like, okay,
I mean,
if
they're
they say the
hiring
balloon
you.
girl's
It's a big
here,
deal.
I'm just gonna be like, yes. And so yeah, and so I would have to
own
prep,
the balloon
and then
girl.
it's like still over and over. I'd be
Own
like,
the balloon girl.
yeah,
Own
over
that-
and
own
over
that
though. I would be
title.
like, well, no, I have a real job. And so then I finally was like, you know what, damn it, the balloon girl is here. Where do you want them? And so it was kind of one of those things that I had worked up so much in my HR career that like I did have this big team and I did have a big title and I did have the stock and the salary and like the things that like look great on paper. But like I'm sitting in an office 9 to 5 and I'm like, this is miserable. Like everything looked great on paper and looked great in my bank account, but I was just like, it wasn't necessarily filling like my creative void that I really wanted to be filled. So now I have no issue going in and they're like, the balloon girl's here. I'm like, yeah,
Damn
I do.
right.
I think I wore it. No, I was going to wear it in the photo shoot. So whenever I go to an event, it says the balloon girl. And I'm like, here I am.
it.
That would
Yes.
be balloon woman.
I like
identify
no
as
balloon
the
girl
balloon
sounds
woman.
better. Balloon girl sounds better.
Yeah. So,
But and balloon girl
yeah.
has some pretty like big feathers in her cap. I mean, you
Yeah.
did Jack Harlow's
yeah.
balloons.
Yeah,
Last year.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
was that was a good
New Year's Eve.
Eve.
Right?
Jack Harlow. New
Yeah,
Year's Eve.
that was
So how do
exciting.
you get that kind of gig?
So I will say that the connections that I'm able to make with people, I feel like that.
all about
I feel like people
relationships.
definitely love the balloons and the work that I do, but I think the reason why they keep coming back to me is because they like me as a person. I hope that doesn't sound
Yes.
like conceited.
No, but people do
because people like what
you
you
want
connect
them
with
to like
people,
you.
and so that is one of my best clients, and she is like a director of a hotel, and so she had called me and she was like, hey, I can't tell you who it's for, and it was like the 30th of December. She's like, but it's for tomorrow. And I was like, okay, well, I've so many New Year's Eve, I don't even know how many black, white, and gold silver I've got left. I'll try my best. She's like, well, you're gonna want to do this because I can't tell you who it's for, but it like rhymes with Mac Barlow. I'm like, got it. And so I was like, I think I can figure that out. And so I was like, I will get every balloon I have and I will make it happen.
We really needed you in the halftime show.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I missed it. What was
I
it?
did too.
You know, in elementary school, you have like
The inflatable igloo kind of planetarium that you go and you sit in, and it's like cute. It's like you walked out of that with the high school kid like lip syncing behind him or something,
Oh
and
my
it was just
God.
really
Yeah.
awkward.
I missed that.
It
Why didn't they
looked
call the
like a
balloon
$2
girl?
I don't know. They should have.
It looked like a $2 presentation.
That is
on
unfortunate.
live
Yeah.
television across
They
the
should
globe.
have-
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty bad.
Interesting.
It's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
was
you need to
interesting.
post the ones you actually did.
I know.
for them, so you can be
Really
like,
too.
this is what
Yeah.
this is the kind of work I do.
Right. Yeah, I guess I need to.
This is where we are.
Right.
But yeah, so is that the biggest celebrity so far?
Probably. Not necessarily the biggest, like monetary, but
Yeah.
but yeah, probably
name-wise-
name wise
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, name wise for
So I
sure.
know you are trying to get more into corporate, right? Is that what you're like hoping that your
Yeah.
dreams or like just doing corporate stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I still love doing the birthday parties and the showers and and that sort of thing, but The corporate, one of the main reasons why I decided to leave the corporate and do this, not only from like a creative standpoint, but, I was dropping my kids off. They were the first to be dropped off and they were the last to be picked up. And that like killed me, that I wasn't on the PTO. I didn't get to do, I'm like tearing up thinking about it, but like I didn't get to do.
I'm almost tearing up.
I know, I didn't get to do the like fun stuff. I didn't get to do the volunteer. Like I didn't get to go have breakfast with Santa with the kids because I was working. And so that was really hard. And so I was like, you know what? I'm done doing this. I want to have more time with my kids. And so now I just base my schedule around my kids. I will, I would say 99% of the time I'm taking the kids to school and I'm picking them up every day. I build my schedule around that. That doesn't mean that I won't book something and I will have alternate resources picking them up. But that time is so important and critical to me because I know it goes by so fast. So with your question about corporate, the corporate allows me to do an install on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Sure. Exactly. And so and they also have, larger budgets. They want something that's really big and grand. I can drop my kids off at school. I go home. I get everything ready. I do the huge install and then I pick my kids up. So I don't have to be away from them on, a night or a weekend. So it's nothing against the bridal showers and the baby showers. I still love those as well. But that will, most of those things are on a Saturday or a Sunday because that's when people are off work.
But like you said, the larger budget, you get to do one of those probably in place of two.
Sure.
Right.
Exactly.
Little birthday parties.
Exactly.
Well,
and then it's also just expanding and trying to think through 2024 of, you know what, I'm going to hire some more team members. I'm going to have them do the Saturdays and Sunday installs of the 8 to 10, 12-foot balloon garlands, give them someone else an opportunity to make extra money as maybe they're a stay-at-home mom and they want something to do. Right. Maybe they need a break on the weekends, And so just thinking about that is really being smart with my time. Because time is just as important as money.
Absolutely.
Where do you find somebody that is interested, qualified?
You post it on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean that
because
it's hard.
Your own relationship with the word balloon girl.
Right. That's a good question.
Nobody's stealing that title.
I think there is someone that is the balloon girl. I know there's that balloon girl in Houston, and she's awesome. That's her company is that balloon girl.
You are the BALLOU girl.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sorry, what was I totally missed. I can't remember your question now.
Sorry, tangent.
Oh yes. It is interesting because when you start your own business, no one's ever going to be as passionate about it as I am. Like, I love it. I mean, and my husband is so supportive. My mom, my sister, like everyone is so supportive, but no one loves it the way I love it. And that's with anyone's business, when anyone starts anything. So I have a delegation problem. I know that I learned that at the balloon conference. I'm like, I definitely need to delegate more.
But you know what? That's a common theme with entrepreneurship.
It is.
Okay, that's going to happen.
You
can't beat yourself up for that either.
So luckily I've had a lot of friends who are in the arena of being like, hey, I don't need to work, or I am working, but if you need help. So I've basically kind of used them as like I'm going to pay you, but you're not depending. That's my biggest thing is I don't want anyone to be like, I need 20 hours a week. When I'm still a small business, I can't guarantee that I'm going to have, I could not have an event for 4 days and then I could have 12 in 3 days. And so, I've been lucky enough that I have a lot of people in my corner that will say, hey, when you need help, let me know. And I will pay them, as a contractor, but they're not dependent upon it. And because they are like personal relationships, I trust them completely. One of my husband's best friend is like my main contractor, and I trust him like I trust anybody.
That's good.
Without a doubt.
Well, and another good thing is interns that are wanting like event coordinator type jobs in the future, because that way, like you said, they're not going to be really they're depending on you for like a referral.
Right. Right. I had a large event a few weeks ago that I just unexpectedly had to have like a medical thing the day before. It was like, that was the day that I was getting everything. I was getting the marquee letters from Nashville. I was picking up all the tables and chairs, and I was like, well, I'm going to literally be not available. And, so many friends and family stepped up and just did all of it for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To have a really good circle.
Well, and that's what, back to what you said too about how people love your work, but they love you. Like owning the Scout Guide and being involved with the small business community, that is the whole story behind every single business, and that's why we photograph you, like people say they look through the Scout Guide and they're always like, oh, it's people, it's faces, it's faces. And it's like, well, because that is the business.
That's their
Right.
business.
I mean,
exactly.
you know, I even sometimes have a hard time getting the business owner in front of the camera. And I always say, but yes, people love your business, but the reason they love your business is because they know you.
So
And they
true.
love you.
It's so
and
true.
they have fallen in love with the, you know, this environment you've created.
Yep.
So congratulations on that. And that's a hard thing.
It
You
is.
know,
I'm not
entrepreneurship
great
is
at
not
putting
for the
myself
faint of
out
heart.
on camera.
You what?
No, I'm not great at like putting myself on camera or
Whatever, you're so
like
photogenic.
or like stories. Like
I
I
know.
mean, if I do an Instagram story, I just want to pass out. I mean, it's
Everybody,
just like
all of you guys say that.
I think it's just I don't know why. I don't know because I'll sit there and like Marco Polo all my friends and like well, you know, and that's basically what you're doing. I think it's just like putting yourself out there and someone. Yeah, I don't want anyone
we're
to think.
all worried about criticism.
Yeah, you know the
Still using this?
Marco Polo, the app.
That died like 4 years ago.
Oh,
I was
apparently
gonna-
I don't
I
know
was
the
worried. I was worried when she said that because here we go. I was
no,
like, please,
I'm like, oh,
Brandon,
no,
don't
oh,
listen to
gosh,
that.
no,
Brandon
okay.
didn't hear it.
Well,
Brandon
see,
didn't hear
apparently
it.
I don't know what's going on in the trend in the tech world, so I'm still using it. We love it. What's wrong with
Go
that?
on. Oh, here we go. Get cozy.
Okay.
I'm always just fascinated by, you know, those
Yeah.
things, they can be trendy at first,
Mm-hmm.
where everybody adopts it and they kind of tinker with it.
Right.
It either sticks or it dies
That's true,
away,
though. We
or-
tried to adopt it during COVID.
So it's really interesting to see that
Yeah.
there is a market still for it. I mean,
Yeah.
even Vero that came around.
That went and got that
before
went
COVID,
and yeah,
they
that was
tried to
here.
bring it back.
Oh yeah, I don't even.
It's
Yeah.
still like there are users for this stuff, but I don't know who's
No, it's
using
laughing
it.
because here we are. But it's true.
Snapchat.
Oh.
No,
But you know, but it's funny to your point though. FaceTime, like we'll FaceTime anybody, right?
Anybody.
Which I
And you're looking
I
off,
cringe
and
with
when
that
you're
'cause
like
I hate
looking
it,
awful,
right?
and I'm like, no problem.
It's like looking through a doorbell hole, like,
Yeah.
and your face is all weird.
yeah,
But
it's like putting yourself out
so
there
true.
and not knowing who's on the other side of it. But it's interesting because when I do, and I don't do it often, but maybe that's one of my goals for 2024 is to like get better about putting myself out there with like my face and my voice on
You should,
like
because your
stories.
views go up, I'm sure.
I think, you know, they just do naturally with anybody. But yeah, it's just scary. I don't know why.
I know.
Well, in my mind, it's kind of the same thing as the birthday girl name.
Balloon.
Like, or
Yeah.
birthday. Jeez. Balloon girl.
Kind of
The
the
balloon
same.
girl
You
name.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, just like fighting that identity kind of thing, and you've never been the kind of person to put yourself out there,
Right.
And now you're looking at yourself from
Yeah.
a vantage point that we see you, but you don't see yourself.
Yeah.
And so give yourself grace over a certain
That's right.
60, 90-day period of just doing it, press go, and don't even look at it.
Yes.
Get used to the action of opening
Right.
the phone and making.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
It's going to be really uncomfortable at first.
Yes.
But then eventually
But get
it's just
comfortable
like,
That's
being
a great
uncomfortable.
tip.
I know. But that's like such a
Get
saying,
comfortable
right?
being uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
But it's true. It's
It is
cliche,
with anything.
but it's
I mean,
the
I remember the
thing.
first time I walked up to someone's house, like with my bag of balloons. I was thinking,
What am I
"What am I doing?" Wait, and then
I'm a balloon peddler.
right, and then that whole thing of like, you know, I have a real job. And I'm like,
But it's
did that
really
for, like,
true. I mean, I
2
feel
years.
like, well, and I think that also the other thing about, and I keep saying thing, but the whole, I guess the fear is criticisms, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all worried. Everybody's out there criticizing everybody. I mean, who hasn't been like, oh my God, what is she doing?
right.
When they've seen, I mean, we've all done it. Like,
Right.
did you see that girl go live yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh my
Or
God.
does she? Who does she think she
and
is?
you don't
She's gonna
want
be a balloon
and you're
influencer.
worried
Like
that's
it's
gonna,
like you
and
know.
you're worried that's going to be you. And guess what? It probably is. There's
Yeah.
going to be somebody that's going to say that.
Sure.
There's going to be somebody that criticizes you all the time, and you can't worry about it.
I know.
You
You're
know,
right.
you cannot worry about it.
12 years of HR.
Yes.
It's that imposter syndrome. The thing
Oh,
is, that's true.
Right. I mean, that was.
Like, look at this girl being
Right, that was like my, you know, when I told my boss, like, hey, I'm leaving, she's like, I want to make sure I'm understanding right. Like, you're going to leave, you know, you're leaving this job where you're with your team and, you know, all your stuff, your whole like salary package to go blow up balloons. And I was like, yeah, I
You're
think
like,
I
yeah.
Makes
am.
me happy.
I
was like,
really am.
Yeah, I was like, I really
Yeah.
am.
I mean, it's so important to do something, I think, that makes you happy.
I think so
'Cause,
too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and you know, there's that fear of failure, and it's like, well, I mean, you won't know unless you do it.
Right.
exactly.
It's
Truly.
like, what? I mean,
HR's still going to be there.
HR's
Right.
always that was always my fallback. I'm like, I've always done well at any of the jobs that I've been in, and I've never I've never been fired. I've never done. I'm like, you know, and there's always going to be a corporate job. I can always go back into it.
Yes.
I can always find something. But it all went back to, I don't want my kids to be the first to drop off and the last to be picked up. I want to figure out a way to make this work so I can get the best of both worlds. I want to work, and I want to, and now that I'm on the other side of it, I would never go back to the corporate world ever. Like, being my own boss is the best. and I loved my boss, right? Like, she was amazing and she was so great, but I mean, I love being my own boss.
You're just like,
amazing.
no. Yeah.
Well, you're showing your kids a lot of work ethic. And
Right.
everything else.
Yeah, they're my interns for sure.
All right?
Yeah.
Children
Kennedy
are
can,
staff.
Kennedy can bust out a cluster faster than me. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
she's 8. So I know I've been looking at these like tax like benefits of like, pay your
That's right.
kid, and then you get all these. I'm like, man, I need my CPA to like make.
Yes,
You
I
can.
know.
You're allowed. I know. I need to. I
Yes,
need
I
to look
just
at all
found-
these
yes.
benefits.
I found out last
was
year.
reading
Yeah.
about
Yes.
that. I think
Yeah, you really
and I
can.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Completely
Yeah.
legal.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah, there's lots of
Yeah.
of
Little things here
self
and there as you like.
business
I told my
ownership.
wife, I was like, I'm going to make you 51% owner of my company so that it's woman owned and we get those tax credits.
Yes.
Just don't tank us.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Whatever
right.
looks best on
She doesn't do
paper.
anything in the company.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Definitely she could.
Yeah,
But that's a lot of what
that's
people
right.
do that. A lot
Yeah.
of people do that. That's
Yeah,
right.
no, for sure.
Because there's all
So
kinds
if
of
you were
benefits.
doing balloons, what would the alternative be from HR?
Not HR. I don't ever want to fire anyone again. I'm sure I will have to eventually fire somebody again. Hopefully not. But I don't ever want to fire anybody again.
Where are we going to talk?
You didn't wear the balloon girl shirt. No.
You've been demoted.
You know what's funny is that I always thought I would do something in the event world. All of my friends and family always thought I would be a wedding planner, but I never wanted to do that because of the schedule of the nights and the weekends. And I'm a really I know you can be an event planner or wedding planner and then have a team of people actually doing it, but that's the part I like. Like, that's the part that I enjoy, like doing the table settings, and probably because I have a delegation problem. I mean, we all know this. But I do enjoy that part of it. And so probably something in the creative space for sure. I'm, not exactly sure what that would be. But my degree from UK is merchandising, apparel, and textiles. So like how I ended up in HR, I don't even know. It's like you just end up like getting a job, and then you're like okay at the job, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, heck, it's been
10
6
years
years.
later,
Yeah,
yeah,
10 years
so-
later, you're like, all right, I guess I'm in HR. And, I've always thought I would be doing something creative. Like, I remember doing the first, like, balloon window display, and I was, like, almost, like, in tears because I was thinking, this is what I did when I was an intern at UK. Like, I loved going to the boutiques and, like, doing and changing out all of the store displays. Like, that's what I thought I was going to be, like, a visual merchandiser, have a team of, and it's, like, essentially
That's
it
kinda
just
what
took me
you
a little
did,
bit
yeah.
to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing that.
You
Right,
are, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
that's
you took the
exact-
balloons from your photo shoot and used them at Dress and Dwell.
Yeah,
I
so
saw
like,
you. That was
yes.
such a smart idea.
Yes, I'm like, I don't want to pop these. Do you want them? Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you did. You put it all together with all of her
cool.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. I mean, the fact you're following like your passion is really that's awesome.
Thanks.
And it is
Yeah.
scary, but
It is scary,
Yeah.
but
How'd you give yourself that permission though? Because you said stock options, salary, all of those things. You have a team. You feel comfortable.
right, it was very
Probably as
comfortable. Yeah.
yourself. How do you, like,
It was
have that
hard.
confidence?
It was hard. It was a lot of hard conversations with my husband.
I was
because-
gonna say, I bet he was like,
Yes, I mean, he
like,
was
for
like, "Hey,
real,
listen,
like, he was like, what are you
you
talking
know,
about?
I want you to be, passionate about what you're doing, but we also were living like really comfortably, and so, because it wasn't like I just had an okay job. I had a great job, and I think that was the hardest part. And I think it was also like when I resigned in February 2022, it was like my boss was so lovely. She was so great. She's like, can we create a job for you? And then my husband was like, man, they just love you there. Like, why do you want to leave? And I'm like, well, I love it there too. Like, well, no, I like it there. Let me clarify. Like, it's fine. Totally content. And so then it was like, and I never want to like let people down. It's like when I leave a party and I'm like, do you like it? And if I don't get the like, I love it. I'm like, okay, what's wrong? They're like, no, I really like it. I'm like, okay, well, I need your
Like, you
energy
just-
to match
you
my
just-
energy.
yeah.
But it's like,
Truth, that first impression. It's
very
like, in the
true.
video Space especially. Like,
Yeah.
you show somebody something, and if it's not that, it's like okay.
right. And some people
Yeah.
just aren't
That's
going
what
to
all
match my
expecting.
energy. Like some people are just going to be like, no, I really do like it. And I'm like, okay, no. But it's like, I resign, and she's like, if I recreate this job for you, and you can work at home, and you can like blow up your balloons in between meetings, will it work? And I'm like, and it's like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, right?
I know. I was like, she's like, hold on, I need to see. I need to have a Zoom call with you in just a second.
I would
to fire
like
you.
move all
that noise.
right. It's like the one time I forget to put the Zoom background up, and it's like all the balloons, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awful.
Or your daughter's in the background
Right?
helping you.
Like, oh, child labor laws in your
That's what I
HR.
was gonna say. She's got a sweatshop at home.
Right. What's going on? But you know, it's interesting because it's like a lot of long, hard conversations with my boss, and then when they created that job for me, it's like that's why it was like the 8-month resignation because.
So you actually did.
So I resigned in like February 2022, and it was one of those things of like not wanting to let people down. And so it's like when she said like, well, just create a job for you. Like I'm going to a new team. You can be on my team again. And I knew she was great. It's like, did I really want to do it? No, but I felt like my husband was like, I think you should just try it. Let's, so I'm like, all right, we'll try it. And then it's like,
Oh, so you did take
so I
these
did.
positions.
So I did take that position
yeah.
for, from like February until like July. But then it was like, it just got to be too much. I mean, that was, I did like 6 times the amount of sales from 2021 to 2022. So I was just slammed and working
Wow.
both of these jobs. And so then it was like, hey, I really can't do this anymore. And I remember crying to her. She's so nice. And she's like, well, can you go part-time? I'm like, you're killing me. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, if you'll let me keep my stock, I will go part-time. And so she's like, okay, let's go part-time. So I'm like, I mean, it was literally the resignation that never ended. And so then I finally was like, listen, I'm not working starting November 1st. If you want to keep me on the payroll, fine. But like, I will not be logging in. And she was like, I will take your resignation this time. And so, which is like, obviously such a flattering thing for someone to be that passionate about like my career, that she was probably more passionate about my career than I was in that space.
Now that you are where you are, looking back, do you wish you'd just been like, no, like I'm done? Or do you feel like it was kind of like a good
I think I
way?
definitely could have left a year earlier. But I think I learned different things. That new role was something totally different. Like I didn't have a team any longer. I was like it was a higher exposure role where I got to influence a larger scope. And so I think it taught me a different facet of an HR world than I was normally in. And so I think I needed that. I think I totally could have left. But I don't regret staying.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Permission
good.
at the end of the day, did you really need? Because it sounded like you had a lot of people and a lot of
Yeah.
opinions around you, but like.
I think I needed my own. I think I needed my husband's and mine. And I think once he saw the volume that I was getting, he was like, listen, the potential, and he's like, and if this is going to bring you joy with having you getting to pick up our kids
I was
every
gonna
day
say
from
that.
school,
Yeah, that's a big factor.
then if we need to be stricter on our budget, and then that's fine. To me it was kind of like, well, I think I can get back to where I was at with Chewy. Like I don't know, but I think I can. And so I think I needed my own self permission, but I definitely wanted to hear it from him. Like, hey, I support it. Whatever we got to do to make it happen, we're going to do it. And he's been so supportive.
And I'm sure your kids think it's super cool.
Oh, they love it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure they're like, yeah, my mom is the balloon
Yeah.
girl.
Sorting all the
Yeah.
balloons and
Yeah.
all of her closet full of stuff.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, they love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
they
it.
So are you there yet? Do you
Chewy, yeah, that's where I worked. The pet company.
Chewy.com?
I mean,
Yeah.
and I love that company. I mean, it's a great company and great people, and yeah. So that's why it was so hard to leave, because when you're leaving something that is a great company, a great boss, and a great paycheck at the end of the day for something that I hated it because I was like totally content, but I'm like, man, somebody else would like love this. If they were really passionate about the way I'm like passionate about owning my own business, man, they would be awesome. But I was like, totally fine. Like, I remember like getting a promotion, and she's like, are you excited? And I was like, I'm so excited. I mean,
Your energy was not matching her energy.
no, it was not matching her energy. It was
So
not.
Are you blowing away your goals that you set for yourself?
No pun intended, right?
Oh,
Didn't even
ba-dum
think
bum.
about, woo!
Woohoo. That's your
um,
new stat.
Yeah.
I know,
Blowing my
right?
goals away.
Yeah, inflating, No, I am. So, yeah, so it's been,
So much
many-
material there.
Deflation
So
is not
much
cool.
material.
You know, there's so many balloon puns. No, it's been really wonderful.
Oh my God, I just thought of like 3 more.
I know there's so many. There's so many.
Okay.
But yeah, everything has been where I've been wanting it to be as far as like sales go. I think the biggest thing for me is just the growth in 2024. I would love to see like expansion, more people on the team, and more corporate clients, and just, you know, getting leaner, right? Like, it's like I started and I didn't really mean to start a business. So it's like you kind of are scrappy in the beginning, and then you kind of figure out what it is that you like definitely need. And so, but yeah, it's been wonderful.
Did you wait for your salary to be comparable?
Well,
a lot of people give that advice.
yeah.
Right? They're like, do the thing on the side, wait till it's
Right.
you know, pretty much there, and then you can make the jump. So
I did it not quite, but I also had like a really good salary. So it was like hard. It was like I told my husband, like, I will never reach that salary until I'm on my own.
100%.
I'm like, because I
right.
will literally, there's not enough hours in the day. Like I can't do both because I can't reach that salary independently. But what I did do is that I never paid myself with BALLOU ever until I quit Chewy. And so I had this like large sum of money that I was like, hey, even if I don't make one more dollar, make one more event, we're good with this for like a year. And like I knew that wasn't the case because I never had to pay I would do an event and I would just like put it in a bank account.
Yeah.
So where'd you get
Your discipline with money, because a lot of people would be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna."
You know, it's interesting. I don't know where because I don't have it with our personal budget.
Well,
My
then you
husband's
had
like,
a
well, you've done a
salary.
lot of.
Money.
Yeah, she's like, you know, you've done a lot of Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping, but I don't see that business account moving. I don't know.
You're
where
like,
I
it's
get that.
because I'm doing
Yeah,
all this
I
on my
think I
own.
had that discipline of knowing at some point I'm going to want to leave here because I cannot function on this many hours of work in the week. And I knew that if I went to my husband and said, hey, I have this X amount of money in the business account, he would be like, okay.
So
If
it's time.
it was,
so you
yeah.
knew you built that egg, and you
Yeah.
said, okay, if I can live on a year
Yeah.
if
Without-
this doesn't go for me.
If
then
I don't book one more event,
Yeah.
I can live for a year on this, then
that's awesome.
then I knew that wasn't gonna, and then it was just like one of those things of like, all of a sudden the inquiries started coming in that I'm like, I never could have done this setup for a corporate job on a Tuesday because I would have been at work,
Yeah.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And so,
Has Chewy called you to do an event yet?
no.
Hello,
Hey,
Chewy.com.
No, but they have
Doesn't
such
work
they have
there
such
anymore.
tight budgets. I'm like,
Oh,
come on.
whatever.
I know. And so, I mean, I did a ton of stuff because when I was there, I would be like, okay, if you order the balloons, I'll do it. You know, HR, you end up being the corporate party planner. I mean, that's just the reality. You're ordering the Christmas cards. You're also hiring, you're firing, you're doing all the things in
Right.
HR. And so I think they got used to me being like, oh, well, if you get the balloons, I'll do it yeah, sure, I'll do it for free because I work here. And now when I'm like, yeah, they're like, you know, do you want to? I'm like, yeah, it's $1,500. Like, yeah, I guess we're gonna get an Amazon kit. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah, right. I'll just get that on Amazon. Don't
Yeah,
tell me.
yeah. So,
That's
Yeah.
hysterical.
but yeah, their budget's tight. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. You're like, whatever.
Yeah,
Who's
whatever.
a corporate place in Louisville and specifically that you want to work with that you haven't yet?
Yum, for sure. I'm doing a few
Ooh,
things
want
with
to introduce
them.
you to Robbie
but I
Valentine.
would love that.
No?
U of L. I have not gotten it. I think I told you that,
Yeah.
Jen. Like,
Yes. And I said, let's go get him.
yeah, that's what you said. I've not gotten with U of
Do you know
L.
anything about basketball? Because I think they need a new coach.
I think they do, right? Maybe I need to find the new coach and just bring him like a bunch to his house and be like, hey, I would love to get in just, you know, yeah, Yum, Humana. We got Publix coming. I'm like trying my best to
There
get
you go,
Publix.
yeah.
I made the cutest little balloon bunch with
Aw.
pub subs in them.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's
so I'm
fabulous.
going to take it to them tomorrow because I'm like, I've been hounding them. They probably think this girl
This
is
girl- this
nuts.
balloon girl is crazy.
She is sending us another Instagram message. They are so friendly,
Just
though.
keep the balloons here so we don't
Right.
have
So I'm
them.
like, you know what? I'm just going to go in there and literally take
great
them
idea.
this with their pub sub and be like, here, hire us for your
Good for
event.
you. That's what you
So
gotta do.
I have no,
You have like a 14-year-old intern that's doing social for them?
no, but they're really nice back on social media. They are very friendly and they're like, fill out our vendor portal. I'm like, I have 4 times.
You're like,
Just
go
because, you know,
check
what
it
I think
out.
it's like they're going to be the biggest
Yeah.
Yeah.
Publix in, I don't know. I think they said, I don't know. And it opens soon. It's like within a month.
I can't
probably.
wait.
Yeah,
Ours,
it's like the
ours is supposed
regions,
to be
yeah.
coming soon. So.
I
Oh
cannot
my gosh,
wait.
I know.
I cannot
know.
wait.
Lexington's
So I would love to
getting
get
one. I can't
those as they all develop.
Yeah.
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 That's cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank
I know,
you so much for
yay.
having me.
Yeah, we definitely need to do this again. soon.
Yes, I really, really
know.
appreciate
Very
it. It was so
fun.
fun.
We'll have to do your
remember.
follow-up interview in Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll have
Oh,
to
is
do
there
that.
follow up?
Maybe we'll do it at the Yum Center when you get that account.
There you go.
There we go, just manifesting it.
Yeah. Manifest the
right.
center court, right?
Yeah.
New coach
under a
and center
balloon
court.
arch.
Exactly.
Thank you guys.
So tell everybody really quickly about how to reach you on Instagram.
Oh, yes. So BALLOU Designs on Instagram, BALLOUDesigns.com. Both of those.
I was going to
Yes.
say, yeah, spell blue.
Yes, sorry.
Just getting it.
BALLOU. And the idea behind that was like balloons, Louisville, but sometimes I have to explain it, so I don't know if it's the best name, but that's what we're going with. So BALLOUDEsigns.com.
Michelle.
Perfect.
Yep, Michelle Fell.
Yes. And be watching
Wonderful
for
name.
her in the volume 1 of
Yes.
the Scout Guide Louisville, which comes out in February.
Yeah, and we'll do the launch party.
So we're so excited. Yes.
Yes,
And be watching for that
definitely.
amazing balloon
Yes.
art that we'll have. We
Yes.
don't know what it'll look like yet.
Where is one?
It's going to be at Janice Humphrey's house in Lincliff.
Lincliff.
Yes, off River Road. Yeah. In February. So
Okay,
we're
yay.
excited. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yay.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations again on all your success.
Thank you.
And we're excited to be a part of it too.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the Lexington Business Show. Go right now, rate and review the podcast. It's how we grow and thrive and how we get more listeners and get to do a lot more cool stuff here on the show. Thank you.